floor V.
Lyricism is a craft. Leave the gimmicks to the half-hearts who can only walk the beaten path and rock the stereotypical mask. They stole our swag, pimped us out, called it mainstream, and we said bun it. The only stream we feel is the one that flows from our current. We were the genius, wide-eyed, trying to fraternize with the gatekeepers to the mansion. And every time we got too black, no exposure was the sanction. He couldn't resist the rhythm, stayed making pee from our riggers, saying, please continue to create like gods, just so long as you spit like niggers. But we're them perverted revolutionaries. Don't let us in the door, we kick it down. Seal the roof, we smash through the ceiling. And now we've become wise enough to construct our own buildings. Their mansion is a minor, to their industry we don't aspire. Now London's burning, cause we ignite the UK fire. So spit high caliber MC, rapper, bring the spoken word poet. Vocalists construct those melodies of resonant frequencies and send it out to the world. If Omawale Malcolm was a poet, we are the means necessary. Carrying Yah Santa was bullets on the winds of our words. If Messiah was music, we are the whirlwind and the storm. Be black as you wanna be, this is your platform. Like how the Most High created the world, it's recognized as the first gift. gotkushTV, we bring you Wordsmith. All right, Tendai Mwali, be thankful unto the Mother, Father, creative life force of the universe. Kudzai Mudzimu Mukuro. Give praises unto our great ancestors. Abibi Faholie, Abibi Tumi, African liberation and African power for all African people. As you know, my name is Shakara and you're live on gotkushTV right about now. And I'm honored, kings and queens, because we have a very special brother with us. And if you've been following gotkushTV for a while, you know we're known for creating a platform for the revolutionary artists, the conscious artists, the people with a message in the music and music in the message family. And I had the pleasure, you know what I'm saying, about a month ago now to listen to an album, entitled Why is the Dome, and it was curated by the brother who I have on the screen with me right about now. He goes by the name of Rakeem Shabazz. So greeting, welcome to Rakeem. How you doing, bro?
Peace, black man. Thank you for having me, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Likewise, King. So for those who are not familiar and aware of you, let's let the people them know who you are and what you do.
For sure. All right. My name is Rakeem Shabazz. I'm host of the Wazadome TV podcast. I'm also music curator, executive producer. Work with a lot of different indie artists. And yeah, that's my thing. I'm a researcher. I'm someone who does what he can to highlight the culture.
100%. So with that, family, make sure that you subscribe to Why is the Dome TV right now. Go find Why is the Dome and subscribe. You can find it on the YouTube or on the Spotify. You can get it on the Spotify. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you follow that. And you know what I mean? I have had the pleasure of being hosted on there as well. So we give thanks for that love also. But check it out because our brother is having some multifaceted and multidimensional conversations that you need to be involved in. My brother, like, before we get into the music here, like, just give me a sense of your journey into consciousness.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Into the black radical tradition as it's referred to. Just give us an idea of how you got to where you are.
For sure. All right, so it started when I was young. My parents, they were conscious, but they necessarily weren't in the movement per se. They were working class people. My father, while he was in school, used to go see Kwame Ture speak and things of that nature. And so he had these books, and he had Malcolm. He had Autobiography of Malcolm X and Roots and a few other things. And then around that time, we would see people like Dr. Khaled and Sister Soldier and Louis Farrakhan on Donahue, and it would be summertime, and they would be articulating things that even as a youngster I knew to be true, but
Right.
didn't have the words and the life experience to articulate it the way they did, right? And
Yeah.
then so I began to in high school. I began to read um, everything from Message to the Black Man to Du Bois to Booker T. Washington. Just any like like you would go to the like we had a in Durham, North Carolina. Shout out to brother Bruce. We had a black bookstore called The No, and it was a big deal, man. We had everybody from Coakley to Dr. Ben come through there at times, and then brothers locally who were building things would come and speak, and that used to be my hangout after a while. And I'd get books and read them and just begin to educate myself. And then and so I kind of went through a period where I didn't read as much. I was kind of out in the world a little bit, right? and and so but something internally was like, yo, you got to get back on track. Obviously you got this life experience now, but you need to get back to studying and building with your people. And so my first when I did that, when I came to that understanding, I went to the Nation of Islam mosque, and so I appreciated the structure and just the black aspect of its ethno-religious ideology, right?
Mhm.
At the same time, there were things within it that I couldn't 100% agree with.
Mhm.
And it's not a knock on them or anybody that does follow that. I respect all people's path as long as it's black, righteous, and is striving to build something. But it
100%.
wasn't for me, and so um, I I was like, yo, the aspects that I wasn't agreeing with, the most of the 5% don't necessarily agree with those aspects either, but they do take on the idea of man is God and being just the idea that no one's coming to save you, right? Right. And so that's what resonated with me, and just the idea of kind of get up and do something. So there was in I was in Dallas at the time, and there was a website that the 5%ers at Dallas had, and something told me just like, and look, I was broke, doing bad in an apartment. I had some cheap Wi-Fi that took like 20 minutes to load a web page, man. But I was really wanting to reach out to the brothers just to see
Right.
what they were building on, and I read the page finally loaded, and then I just on there it was like a bulletin board, and I was like, yo, I gave my name. It's like I'm interested in learning,
Right.
and I put my number down, and within 15 minutes I got a call, and it was a brother named Agad Be Allah. He was the second person to Knowledge 120, which is supreme, what Nation of Islam calls supreme wisdom, in Dallas. And so, and after that, but that I am a 5%er to this day, but that is not the totality of my journey
Mhm.
intellectually.
Mhm.
Um, and then so that was for me, that was about self, right? That was
Right.
about self actualization, self realization.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's not necessarily a political science.
Okay. Okay.
There's aspects to it,
Yes,
but
sir. Yes, sir.
I had to, the more you study, the more, and especially when the more you study our history,
Mhm.
our freedom struggles,
Mhm.
all of it begins to lead you in certain directions and
Yes,
paths.
sir. Yes, sir.
And right, and then so I started, learning about the evils of capitalism and imperialism. Started
Mm.
learning about, um, you know, because I always had a Pan African sensibility. I look at like I look at it as a way where if some people may not understand how I reconcile the two, you might have a 5%er that's a Democrat or a Republican, right? Whatever. For me, this is my political ideology,
Yes,
Pan
sir. Yes, sir.
Africanism,
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes, sir.
And so, and and if we really wanted to break down what the lessons were saying and what Elijah Muhammad was saying when he said our unity is stronger than an atom bomb, he's telling you right there. But anyway, but so I began to study not just our history. It began to evolve from our political movements. I mean, to our political movements, our freedom struggles, different political ideologies. Like Black Marxism to Black nationalism, and just the things that worked and the things that didn't. And I started reading all these books, and I was like, man, I need to be able to talk to people about this, right? And that was my motivation for the show. I saw some programs that were good, but it seemed to me a little bit more about debate, or and that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to build with brothers and sisters from all ideologies and thought processes, people of the arts, and show that a lot of times that whenever you love Black people, we have more in common than we do. And so that's kind of where my journey started. And as you know, I'm still on my journey. It's an ongoing thing, and I'm
100.
Yeah. The journey is the best part, man.
Indeed. All right, well, we're gonna come back to some of that, because
for sure
some of what you said relates to the themes in the album. All right, but now we've gone from your foundation in the consciousness. Let's get into your musical inclination, because I mean, you're the curator of the album, and this is not something that we're used to nowadays. Either you're the producer or you're the artist.
Right.
And sometimes the one of those is the curator, but you are the curator.
Right.
You ain't got a verse on here,
not one verse.
You ain't got a beat, you know what I'm saying? Like none of that. So how do you become the curator? Like do you have a history of this kind of work in music?
Actually no, this is my first foray into it.
Right.
The way it came about is one of the, outside of wanting to create a show where I build with brothers such as yourself about different aspects of Black culture and where we're going and what we've been through. I was on Twitter. The other motivation was I was on Twitter, and you know how you have Black Twitter and you have boxing Twitter, you have soccer Twitter, you have all these different corners of Twitter, man. And whatever you like, a lot of times you just kind of end up in that corner of Twitter, right? And so I ended up in hip hop Twitter, and it was I had gone through like a few years, man, where I was kind of disillusioned with the art form because I didn't know where to look. I assumed, which you should never do, that people weren't coming with it anymore, right? It's just because it got to a point where, especially during that time where we're transitioning from radio to streaming platforms, radio, no matter where you were, was playing the same 25 records over and over and over, and so began to kind of get disillusioned with it. I found myself listening to all the old stuff, you know what I mean? And then I got on Twitter, man, and I started meeting these great MCs and listening to their music, and I was like, yo. And then I was like, yo, why does people like Vlad, and then why y'all not interviewing them? You know what I'm saying? Like these cats are coming with it. Like they're extremely lyrical. They got substance. Like, but we know why, right? And so I was like, I might not have the reach and pull of Vlad, but at least I was like, that was part of the motivation to do the show. I was like, nobody's interviewing him. I began to interview him, and this was like maybe like 3 years ago. And then within that 3 years, not because of me, but just because of their own hard work. I'm seeing, you know, just them continue to progress and elevate in their careers, and it was dope. But I always wanted to, like, you know, open up the app and see an album done by Rakeem Shabazz, man. And I was like, yo, and so like not only did I meet MCs during this process, you know, I met Furious Styles, who produced the album out of Chicago. And I just got the idea. I was like, I want to make the album that I want to hear, right? And so yeah, well, I know we could definitely get into the process.
We're gonna get into it.
Yeah. But before we do that, I would definitely like to shout out Furious Styles, the producer.
100.
I would like to shout out Backwoods Sweetie and King James, who co-produced. I would like to shout out Zarhill, who did the album cover. But yeah, it was a team effort.
100%. It always is, yo. Right. All right, let's get into. I want to get into the process of your curation for a second, but you know, as you said, every beat on here was produced by Furious Styles. Yeah. So give the people an idea, for those who are not familiar with Furious Styles. Who is he? Where him come from? Where him do? You know what I'm saying? And why did you choose him to produce this whole album?
For sure. So he had just got back. See, he was a, you know, he's a family man, just, you know, like we all are. And he was producing a lot whenever he was younger. And then 3 or 4 years ago, he got back into making beats, right? And then so I started hearing him. He did an album for Backwoods Sweetie. He had these albums that he would do called The Vault. And he was, you know, you could tell, like, all right, he's finding his pocket. You know what I mean? Like each project, you could like, okay, he's finding his pocket. And so it didn't, and it wasn't necessarily going to be just him at first. So the first person that I reached out to, I won't name any names, but he wasn't like, he didn't see my, like, he was excited to do the project, but he didn't see the vision that I was trying to. And then so the stuff that I would get back, mind you, that I paid for, stuff that I would get back, like it wasn't giving me that feeling. And then so I got like disillusioned somewhat, because I'm like, first off, getting 30 MCs to get on one album, they don't know who they're doing a song with. They don't know anything, right? They just know that they're giving me a verse.
Yeah.
This is already a tall task. Now I'm not really feeling the beats that I'm getting. So I was like, man, it's tough. So I hit up Furious Styles. And he man, the first beat he sent me was On Trees, the first song on the album. And I was like, okay, all right, now we cooking with grease, man. And then so he came through for me in the clutch, man, and I'm definitely appreciative and thankful. You know what I'm saying? Just for him providing that soundscape.
All right, so you brought us to the first track on the album, yeah. So let's go there, and I'm gonna come back to your thought process for the rest of the project, yeah.
Okay.
To keep it real, I remember we used to pick cotton out of the cotton field. They hung a nigga up, how silly massa was raw for real. In the hot sun, they was raping our daughters and back. Sucked all my mother milk from her titties and whipped her back. We was bit by the dogs.
For me, this was like the perfect opening. You know what I mean? And yeah, you're right. The beat was on point, the bars was on point. Why did you choose to start with that particular tune?
And man, brother, you know, sometimes you can't, like, all right, so what's interesting about that even being the first song is that's the first beat that I got.
Right.
Allah Preem's verse is the first verse that I got.
Okay.
But that didn't. But when I got everything back in, I was always, I don't know, man. It was just a feeling like this is supposed to be the first song. Like, I couldn't see anything else being the first song. It had to come in it had to come in with that. And I like, you know, Allah Preem and Noah the Flood, they, in my opinion, they set the tone.
Right.
Like, as far, all right, so you hear their verses of like, okay, I know, and the name of the album, Wise the Dome, okay, I know what they on. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep. All right. So, like, I mean, what did you give them as a concept for the song, though?
All right. So on Trees, so I'll let you. So on some songs, I gave the concept. On others, the artist kind of heard the beat, and the beat brought something out of them. And this is one of the cases where they heard, you know, and I'm just to kind of get in their thought process.
Okay.
I would think that because I can hear what they're saying, obviously in their verses, when they heard the On Trees sample.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
First thing they went was Strange Fruit, you know?
Sir. Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? And they laid it out like that. And so I gave on that. I did this a few times. On that one, after Preem gave me his verse, I sent it to Noah the Flood so he could kind of get an idea of, you know, where he went on the song. But yeah, I think that one, they heard that, and that was the first thing they thought. And yeah.
All right. So give us now like a broader scope then for what like your overall vision was. How was you trying to approach this? You know what I'm saying? Like, just give us a broad scope of your approach to curating this album.
Sure. So first, I did not want this to be called or sound like a compilation, right?
Okay.
Meaning, you know, like first song, Allah Preem, second song, you know, Backwoods Sweetie, third song. No, I didn't want that, right? I wanted it to sound like an album, a cohesive album. So that was number one.
Right.
Two, as far as the theme, obviously, you know what I'm on. I had to have it somewhat conscious, but I wasn't real pushy about, like, because I didn't want any artist to feel like they had to come off preachy or anything, right?
Yes, sir.
But which I think because it's me, like the artists were like, this is what I'm giving, you know what I'm saying? And which I do appreciate. I'm thankful for that. And because I wanted it to be a companion to the show as well. Like a lot of the artists that you hear on the album, you can catch their interviews on the show as well, right? And so I wanted it to be conscious. I wanted it to have, within consciousness though, have different themes, you know, like the song with King James and Backwoods Sweetie is you know, about Black relationships and things that we've all gone through, or Hourglass with LRB and Cashmere P, Bomani and the Jerry, where it's just like, you know, you're sitting in your room reflecting, you know, on life, you know. Just I didn't want it to necessarily be like, you know, one of my favorite albums is Dead Prez Let's Get Free, but I didn't necessarily want it to be that. Right. You know, they did that the best you can do it.
Right. And
so I kind of wanted to do it my way, and so that was my idea.
All right, we're gonna come back to the two songs you mentioned in a second. Yeah, I was like 3 tracks in to this album, and I'm a disciple of Wu. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, I can feel the I can feel the energy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I got the vibe, yo. Yeah. I don't know. Just tune into that for me, and just give me like the influence of the Wu-Tang on your style and your musical appreciation.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Big influence. Just because I feel like they had the perfect balance of being able to speak about the neighborhood and also being able to speak from a conscious perspective. and also, you know, I didn't have, you know, necessarily kung fu clips, but I had Malcolm clips and Reverend Jeremiah Wright clips. Yeah, you know, but I yeah, it's definitely a huge influence. You know, it's funny you asked that because I was a Wu-Tang fan growing up. And you know, big Wu-Tang head, but whenever some of the 5% stuff that they were talking about, I didn't really understand until later, you know, but yeah, and then, you know, I grew up in a time where it was either a Pan-African MC, a Black nationalist MC, 5%er MC, right? That, and a lot of times those three were overlapping, right? Like there was a lot of overlap in those three, right? And so that's another thing that I wanted to do is bring that overlap back, because, you know, you might have a song, you know, where with people that might have different political ideologies on how we're gonna get free, but you wouldn't know that from how they rock the mic together. You know what I'm saying? 100. And so that was another idea.
No, I felt that Wu-Tang energy. Yeah, and for me, because I used to produce, and I used to make beats, right? I studied music and them kind of things there, and like sonically, like RZA changed the way I listen to music. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and I salute him to this day. You know, he political, you know, contradictions aside.
Yo, from Enter the 36 Chambers to the 4 solos that he produced to Wu-Tang Forever, that might be the best producer run ever, bro.
This guy is a genius.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you know, I always I tap into his energy when I hear it in other places, you know, quite significantly. So yeah, so much appreciated for that. So I mean, we talked about On Trees, yeah. And then you've got a feature from B. the God, yeah.
Yes, indeed.
And one of the things I noticed about this album, in fact, is the different regions. So like, you've got artists from the East Coast, West Coast, and everything in between, South, and everything in between. It seems like, yeah.
Yes,
was
indeed.
that just the nature of the network, or was that a conscious decision?
A little bit of both. It was the nature of the network and a conscious decision. I felt like hip hop obviously is a universal language, just like reggae, jazz, and all of our Black creations as far as the arts. And yeah, you know, and all the artists, although they are, they might be, no matter where they're from, they add a dope perspective on just the art form and their own personal journeys. And so yeah, you know, yeah, B Dot representing Cali on that song there, you know, B Dot from Cali, Backwoods Sweetie from Maryland, and so it's just like, you know, I had a lot of different states and cities on the album.
Right. Okay, so that tune is called "I See You World," yeah, and one of the things that I appreciate about this album is the number of artists that I got to learn about. Yeah, I'm gonna come back to Backwoods Sweetie because she's got like a couple of my favorite verses. I had to go look her up because I was like, yo, who is this? Yeah, I need to know.
Right.
Who this is. I'm gonna come back to that in a second. All right, but B Dot, yeah, is probably the most high profile artist that you've got on here. So let's talk about B Dot the God for a second. You know what that was like. How did you get him on? Why? You know, why was it important to get B Dot on this?
Oh man, I'm glad you asked, man, and peace to that brother, man. Great MC. He's my favorite battle rapper.
Same.
Yeah, by far.
So at some point, he edge loaded Lux with me. This, you know, that was
same
I love loading it, but at some point, yeah, you know what I mean.
Me too. Lux is great, but I think I don't know. B Dot brought something He brought it brought something different.
I'm trying to break your shit, trying to make you bend. The need to a lineage of kings with amazing skin. Melanated men, vilified in the ways of sin. Words cutting deep, sharper than a knife, razor thin. The society is a prison, they try to cage you in. But the mind floats like a leaf during the days of wind. They plotting, but I'm jotting words to try and break the trend. They can take the paper away, but can never take the pen. Let's begin.
But we had been, I think we had been friends on like Facebook and Twitter and all the social media stuff for, 5 or 6 years, and we would interact on there. And then I got his number whenever I had him on the show.
Okay.
And then and I was like, yo, man, if I'm gonna do this, I got it's a no-brainer to have him on. You know what I mean? And so I called him. He was with it. He was just like, man, it's an easy call. And I sent him the beat. And then that was one of the ones I was like most anticipating as far as to hear back, right? Because mind you, I gotta kind of set the scene. Like I had folders full of verses from different people. No full or complete songs, just verses, right? I had the engineer, King James, obviously had to put it together. I would just kind of give him the order of the verses that I would want. But yeah, it was important because B-Dot, one of my favorite MCs, definitely my favorite battle rapper. And he's just, and like I know, he's extremely talented, man.
100.
With that pen, I don't know, he represents well. And
100.
And I had to, and so when I knew he was going to be on there, I was like, yo, I think a song with him, and I know you're going to get to it in a minute, but I was like, a song with him and Backwoods Sweetie would be crazy.
100.
And so I had some of this stuff would keep me up at night. Because I'm going through the schematics of who's going to be on what, and and so
100. Now it was good to hear him. For me, when I listened to him just in battles, it reminded me of Dead Prince. I'm born and raised in the movement, as you know, right? And I've been listening to conscious MCs all my life,
right?
But there are some that you listen to and you know what, this person is closer to the movement. You know what I'm saying? That's what I got from Dead Prince. I was like, yeah, these people. Then I found out they're actually members of the Uhuru movement.
Right.
Like, no, this is coming. Like, it's coming from a different place.
Yeah? Right.
And I got that from B. Like he's close to the grassroots. Like he knows what's happening.
Indeed. Oh, he does. And the thing that's dope about that too is if he was just he's so close. He's in the movement. We know this, right?
Right.
But even if he wasn't, right, lyrically, he would still be crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so to put the two together, it's like, oh man,
it's about this. It's about
this.
You know what I'm saying? All right. So I mean, you've got two sister MCs on here. Yeah. One is Backwoods Sweetie, and the other is in Jerry Earth. Backwoods Sweetie, the only one that's got more than one verse on the project. You know what I'm saying? So I just talk about that for me. Let's talk about the two sister MCs. Let's give them some profile, because two of them have two of my favorite verses on this project. And and it's like I was listening, I thought, yeah, B-Dot, smack this tune. Yeah. When I heard this sister, I was like, yo.
We through society like wicker basket. My ancestors' contributions woven in the fabric. You ain't do the knowledge, what I've gathered. My offsprings replicate my good habits. Redirected mindset. The virus is widespread in the devil's den. Damn, this place we ain't got laws put in place to our detriment. Faced with global black healthcare deficit. Try to stay pleasant, roll up my medicine. The stickiest of resin sediments. Work on myself daily to my betterment.
Talk about her, because I had to go check her out. I've not heard of her before, but I think she got projects. You know what I'm saying? So she's about to be my favorite MC right now, especially because she got a song called Garvey. So, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Man, she's nice, man. That's family. She's from Maryland. Right. She's been MCing for a while, but she I feel like she's getting more shine here within the last 2 or 3 years, right? And she got cosigns from people like Crooked Eye and everybody that has heard her is like, oh, okay. But yeah, man, she's a great MC, man. Great person as well. And it was important to, I mean, well, for one, she's a friend, she's a personal friend, so it was she was always going to be on it, and plus, she helped with co-production as well. But I had to get her and Nigeria on it because the sisters got to balance it out. You know what I'm saying? And I think they both did a great job of that. I think, so it was definitely important. And like Nigeria, like you might have heard her on the Jizz's album. Hold on. It is what song was that? Victim and 112 with 1112 with Killer Priest. Yeah. And so that's what but that was important. And she was she's a 5%er as well. And I had reached out to her when I was doing that. And what's funny, like, so whenever I started doing the album, like light bulbs will go off often because I'm like, oh, this person. And when I first obviously had the idea, I'm thinking of maybe 10 or 15 MCs that I was probably not even 15, 10 that I was probably communicating with on a daily or weekly basis. But then I was like, yo, okay, so I started writing things down.
Okay.
And then I was like, Nigeria, like, get her on the joint. Like, she gotta be on it. You know what I'm saying? And then it just, more names and people I had relationships came to mind. And I'm proud of it, man.
I ain't gonna lie, we're gonna come back to Hourglass in a second. I keep going back and forth between what my favorite verse is. It's either Bomani or Nigeria. I'm like, because I thought, Bomani's verse was banging. But I'm listening without watching the track listing and knowing who's on the track, right?
Right.
I'm thinking it's 3 verses. The song's done right now, isn't it?
Right.
And then I'm like, yo, hey, anyway. Big up the sister, car. That was a big verse right there.
I'm often caught feeling distraught by the past, or gazing too far in the future, while at present the sand in the hourglass is fading fast, missing precious moments. I practice yoga to stay focused, keep a hand of kings and queens, a few aces, and dispose of the jokers. Notice the older I get, I'm losing cards out the deck. Admit I shuffle, hustle, and bustle a little too quick. I can't panic, better off if I plan it. The pandemic helped me to discover and manage my bad habits, despite the
major.
Oh yeah, for sure. I feel like Nigeria on So Hourglass, that's one of my favorites on the.
It's
album.
my favorite. I'm gonna get that out of the way. Yeah, beats and rhymes. That's just my favorite song on the album. All right, let's talk about it now. How? I mean, did you come up with that concept?
Yeah, so I came up with the concept. And so what happened? The first person I sent it to was LRB.
Right.
He actually leads the song off
100%.
And and so when I got the verse back, I was like, oh, okay,
yeah.
All right, so you went there, and then Cashmere P, which I feel like he left Earth. He's the second verse.
Every verse is banging. What did you communicate to them though? Because the concept is not. It's so multidimensional, and they all went somewhere different with it. The song is called Hourglass. What did you communicate to them about what you want from this song?
Well, so what happened? So you kind of got to credit LRB with that since he read the first verse, right? Okay. I said, man, just write about I just had the idea of just hearing that beat of just like real like introspection, like just going within and whatever that means for you. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so when I got it back, I was like, damn. So I sent that verse to Cashmere P, and it's like, yo. And he was like, yo, who is that? I was like, that's LRB. He's like, all right, bet. And so I sent Cashmere P's verse to Bomani.
Okay.
And Jerry, I think I had just told Jerry like kind of what it was on.
Wow.
But
so she hadn't heard nobody else's verse.
No, like she might have.
Wow.
No, she just does her thing, man. Right. And or she may, you know what, she may have heard LRB's.
Okay.
But if she did, that was the only one. But
okay.
Yeah. So it was kind of like each one had heard like one other verse outside of their own.
Oh, right.
Just because that was one of those joints where it was so I felt like it was you know, one of those ones that could touch people's spirit. And so I wanted everybody to be on the same page. So in some cases, like I said, I would have to kind of, you know, let them hear a verse or whatnot.
Yeah. Shout out to Furious Styles. Yeah. That beat is otherworldly, man.
Yeah, it is. It is. When I heard it, I was like, yo, because it didn't even. So like hearing like his other albums that he produced, that beat doesn't sound like any beat I've ever heard him make. And I was like, yo, nah, give me that. Like, I need
100%, 100%. You know, the following track is also one of my favorites. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, and it's the track that you mentioned earlier, Love Hello Right. It's interesting title. Let's deal with the title first. Where does that title come from?
All right, so as a 5%, the 12th letter in the alphabet is obviously L. And each in the supreme alphabet, there's a principle that is attached to each letter. And L is love, hella right. Mm-hmm. It's the science of going through hell to make what you love right. Like being able to endure the hardship.
Right.
Being able to see the bigger picture and let, you know, your love make things right. Even though it's not always going to be that. Sometimes it's going to, you know, like regardless whether it's relationships with opposite sex, your children, with the community, like we can reach those points where it's like it feels like hell, but we work through it to manifest that heaven. So that's what love, hella right means.
And so for those who are not aware, the track is a conversation between a man and a woman on relationship, and the brother kicks off King James, and I'm like, I felt it. I ain't gonna lie, you know. I'm a brother, you know.
Right.
I'll say some of those things, you know what I'm saying. You know what I mean? You know, it hit hard, it hit home. You know what I'm saying?
Hey yo, why you splash me in my face with a cup of water? Should have known you was on some BS when I woke up and heard you playing Summer Walker. And now you in my face screaming, talking about a DM that I ain't even respond to like some sort of stalker. I'm tired of having my faith questioned. I'm tired of you talking reckless, cause you can't get over what someone else did. I did me during the break that you suggested, but since reconnecting, the cycle has been endless.
But the synergy between, were they in the studio together? That did they write that together or not?
So I'm glad you said that. Asked that, right? So King James gave me his verse first, right?
Right.
On that song. But we knew back when Sweetie was always going to be on that song.
Right.
That's she had gave me her verse for I See You World before she gave me that verse.
Okay.
With that said, they would talk on the phone and she would let him hear the verse.
Okay.
And then she would record because he was the engineer as well.
Right.
Of the album.
Yes.
Right. And so you know, they would talk, she would let him hear it, she would kind of tweak it. She has a different writing process than a lot of other MCs. I won't but she's a true artist. I'll let you know that. You know what I'm saying? Like if you get a verse from her, you're gonna get her best, right? And so but they wasn't necessarily in the studio together, but might as well have been, right? Because they were so closely connected while they were making the song.
Honestly, it's just easier to let the music speak. I be all zen and tough skin to them insecurities. See, I never do you how you doing me. My conscience clean, my method married, but in reality, you're all I need.
What I appreciated about that song is that it was so real, like, you know, and I'm passionate about the dangerous nature of this gender war thing that we got.
Yeah, me too. Mm-hmm.
And the song was real enough without being pathological, without being combative.
Right.
It was challenging. Like, my man's frustrated, she's frustrated, and they're saying some real stuff like that we need to address. But you could feel, I'm just letting you know what I got from this song. You could feel the spirit in it was, I want this to work.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I want this to work. Like there is no other option. But I'm gonna let you know, but what the realness of my thoughts, my feelings are, but not to attack you.
And I'm glad you said that, because like, so, you know, like I told you, that Love Hella Right, the name of the song, 12th letter in the supreme alphabet, that 1 and 2, knowledge when wisdom borns understanding, right? To me, their conversation was born from a place of, you know, a misunderstanding, striving to have an understanding, compared to rooted in straight up dysfunction. You know what I'm saying? Like, did you hear that? And this is not a knock on my brother, because I love him, but the Kendrick Lamar song, where that was a little too much for me. I didn't like it.
The thing is, a lot of that song is like, when you're on social media, that's what you're hearing, right? So I got where he was coming from, but I'm saying this is the difference between this, because there was a other than, you know, let's jump in the bed. There was something in this song that was a bit more you could hold on to as far as solutions. You know what I'm saying? And it's not obvious. It's just the energy of, like, you know, I want this to function. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm committed to this on a certain level. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I get what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? So,
because you know, and like in relationships, we all have those, you know, moments that might not be this.
You know what I'm saying? And I got a shout out, because I've been giving back with Sweetie like a lot of love, but I got a shout out King James. For giving a mature male perspective, for
sure. That, you know, it's funny, that Summer Walker line with the cup of water, like, that shit actually happened to me before, like, a long time ago. That actually happened to me before.
I love it, man. I don't know. Brothers are not. We're not used to hearing other brothers or seeing the image of other brothers being able to express their issues in relationships in ways that are definitely legitimate, right? You know what I'm saying? You know, like, we're allowed to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it ain't gotta be a thing. So shout out to King James for representing the man them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
legit,
you know?
Definitely shout out King James. I also want to shout him out again for the engineering process, because you got to think, it's not like how a lot of engineers, you're going to the studio, you're you know, they're getting the stems and they're just putting the song together. No, I would send him a verse from this person who was using a different software, for this person who was using different software, and he would put it all together, man. And you know, if you need your engineering services, definitely hit him up.
100. All right, I'm gonna come to another track here. 4 Horsemen.
Oh yeah.
My vibe is that you just wanted some MCs to rip.
Yes, I did.
I drop jewels all over this reality. In these streets, we stay the largest casualty. Kinda like Mortal Kombat fatalities. Black men suffer, niggas juggle low salaries. Get a good job, work hard, that's a fallacy. Blood pressure high, stressed out, dying gradually. At work, you wonder why is shorty mad at me. Try to pay the bills with chump change, lose your family.
All right, now I'm gonna tell you an interesting story. Yeah, I've met the brother Kasim Allah before.
No.
If it's the same Kasim Allah, So he's also a spoken word artist, right?
Yeah, he is. Mhm.
Okay. So let me tell you a story now. Yeah, he's actually very important to my history, and he may not remember me,
Wow.
but he will definitely remember my rhyming partner, Amenoir. My writing partner, sorry, Amenoir, Oneness, and Tugstar. So I'm part of a spoken word collective called Best Kept Secret, right?
Dope. Mhm.
I rap still, but I was more of a rapper at one point, and then I kind of transitioned into doing spoken word. So when I started doing spoken word, I never knew there was a scene in London, nothing like that. Yeah, I'm like 16, 17. I get a flyer to an event. It's a poetry slam, UK versus US poets. I
Oh
don't
wow.
know who's on the bill. I don't know nothing. You know what I'm saying? But I saw the flyer, and I'm young, so I got to ask my parents if I can go to this thing, right?
Right.
So my pops said I can go. So I've gone by myself. Yeah,
Mhm.
like just on my ones is a room packed. Yeah, and you know, like you're young, teenage. There's all these sisters in there that are just
Ah,
pulling.
yeah.
I'm like, I nearly went crazy, and they're older than me as well. I nearly went mad, right? But packed, sweaty room. You know what I'm saying? Downstairs, yeah. So there's 4 UK poets, yeah. A brother called Oladi Meji,
Mm.
Oneness, Tugstar, and Amenoir. And the latter 3 became my rhyming partners in the crew Best Kept Secret, right? And then from the USA, we had a brother called D Cross, a sister whose name I'm forgetting right now, you know, shame on me. Brother Earl and Kasima La. Kasima La and my brother Tugstar, yeah, got through to the final of that particular poetry slam, and
Oh wow.
Tugstar won, yeah.
Dope.
You know what I'm saying? But both of them were very impressive, yeah. But that's the event that I found out that there was a spoken word scene in the UK, yeah.
Wow.
So Kasima La's pivotal to man's like
Wow.
development, yeah, as a
That's
spoken
dope. I'm gonna definitely tell him. I'm gonna definitely tell him, and I'm
word.
gonna ask him. Does he remember going out there? I know
I'm
he
sure he
does.
does.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure he does. He featured on my brother Amenoir's album
Dope.
subsequently. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm 100%
Yeah, that's
sure.
him. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's him.
right.
Yeah,
You know what
that's
I'm saying?
him.
Like he'll remember the names Oneness, Tugstar, and Amenoir definitely. I'm sure
All
about
right,
it.
for sure.
Yeah. So big up brother Kasim Allah. Right there. I've got his album as well. There was an album where he did like a battle between a spoken word artist and a MC.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
Dope. See that's a beautiful thing, man. Like how whenever you are in these circles and you begin to do your thing, whatever your angle is, or if it's the arts or just whatever, like man, this world isn't as big as we think, man. Like a lot of us have, if we haven't run across each other, we've run across people that we both know and things of that nature, man. And that's dope just to see that, he was a part of your story,
100.
because he was important for me to have on the album as well. I had always, as a 5%er, you're a lot of times you are impartial to other MCs who are 5%ers, and
Right.
Brand Nubian were important. And then he did a lot of music with Brand Nubian, and
Yes, sir.
I was just like, man, it would be dope to have him on. And
Yes, sir.
but yeah, that's dope, man. And Four Horsemen, that's kind of what that was, man. Was a I wanted that because I mean that's the essence of hip hop too. Just being spitting your bars, and
Yes.
that was Qasim. That was a brother named young brother Patty Honcho. Man, he's 25.
Okay.
From New Jersey.
Yeah.
I would everybody definitely be on the lookout for his music. He's nice, and he gets better every album. But I'm not saying that as if he's already nice. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Jigs is from Atlanta. Same thing. He's a young brother. Extremely nice, extremely lyrical. Numbs is an MC, but he's actually a producer. He's it's kind of like like High Tech when he spit a verse on Talib's joint.
Yes, sir.
He's actually a great producer in his own right. Furious Styles took him under his wing a little bit, and Numbs has been producing a lot of dope albums. In 2023. So yeah, man, that was a fun record.
Note these names, family. Yeah, note these names because we want to make sure that these artists get their shine. Yeah, and you support them. You mentioned Talib Kweli. I got a shout out Furious Styles as well again, because on Love Hello Right, that sample comes from a Talib Kweli song. I'm a major Talib fan, so like I'm a major Black Star fan. Black Star.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, so but that song is of the Quality album. You know what I'm saying?
It sure is.
Yeah. So
when you were saying, okay, I didn't even peep that until you said I got that on CD somewhere.
Yeah. So it's Quality doing a spoken word piece and Bilal sings on it. So that voice is Bilal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Because Bilal's on that album twice, right?
Yeah.
Waiting for
you. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm them times I used to that's what I was listening to,
Yeah, me too.
I clocked it immediately. I was like, yo, but I love when producers sample other hip hop, You know what I'm saying? I think that's a beautiful thing, but he did something beautiful with it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, watch it. Big up Furious Stars where that is concerned. Are you from Texas? That you born and raised?
No, well, I was born in Durham, North Carolina.
Okay.
I moved to Texas probably about 5.
Okay.
Moved back to Durham, North Carolina as a teenager.
Right.
Then moved to Texas as an adult, and I came back to Durham. It's like both of these places are like home.
Your places. So you're basically from the South, yeah?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So give me a vibe on that before we conclude. Just in terms of, because they say the South is running things as far as hip hop is concerned. Like, but the sound of this album, there's a southern vibe to it, and in places, especially on Don't Talk, yeah.
You
know what I'm saying? But like, I don't know. Like, do you feel like a commitment to be, what's the word, like loyal to a South sound?
I think all right, so my ears are all right. So I grew up in a household that listened a lot of funk and a lot of blues, and and so I had this thing where I think a lot of East Coast producers, like in the 90s, while we're flipping jazz samples, while Southern and West Coast producers were kind of flipping blues and funk samples, right? But I like it all. I'm a fan of jazz music too. But with this album, it just kind of played out like that because those were the beats that I heard and I wanted, and it probably says a lot to just like the music that not even I grew up on from a hip hop stance, but the music that I grew up on with my dad. You know what I mean? And then as far as the Southern vibe, like whenever you hear like Home of the Slaves, like Oluwaseyi from Houston.
America, the home of the slaves. That's why we spell it with 3 Ks. The revolution won't be televised. Swing down, sweet chariot, let me ride. America, the home of the slaves.
It was like that. One of we all have albums in our lives that, especially when you're somewhat conscious, that kind of resonate with you, like where it's like, man, damn, like I was 15, man, and I was I think maybe 15 or 16, man, and we were in my boy's Cadillac, and we were posted up outside of a club that we couldn't get into, and we were just on the tree, man, and we were just zoned out and focused, right, and he put in Goody Mob Soul Food album. And that out, and I was like, what? Just like even more than Outkast's first album did.
Yeah.
And don't be wrong, I love Outkast.
No, 100. I think Goody Mob brought a level of social commentary.
Yes.
That if you was on that wavelength, you tapped into that.
Yes. And then so I heard it, but Organized Noise, they gave them those type of, like I grew up in I probably stopped going to church when I was maybe 11 or 12.
Right.
But that's a pretty, that's my formative years, right? And like it's like that Southern saying, taking the church doesn't necessarily mean taking the church per se. Like it's a feeling of the soul. You know what I mean? Like warm food, like cooked food on a Sunday with all your family around. You know, like that kind of and still. So that's just the vibe, man. That I kind of wanted. I didn't necessarily want the whole album to be like that, but I wanted that vibe to be represented, man. And people like Oluwaseyi and Jalen Musa, like who is from Louisiana.
Yeah,
he has the second verse on that song, and Black Chidori has the third. And he's from Virginia, all different parts of the South. But I don't know, man. I kind of just like I said, I kind of made what I like.
100. I feel like after the regions, they don't get enough love for the variety of their sounds as well. Like maybe probably with the exception of New York,
right?
In the sense of that people think that Southern hip hop sounds like a particular kind of thing,
right?
Like, but then I mean I don't know how close South and North Carolina are in terms of sound, right? But I think that most people would know like Little Brother out of North Carolina, like, and they got it's soulful, but it don't sound like Atlanta, or Houston, right? You know what I'm saying? Like it's a different thing. And then like if you go to West Coast now, most people just think Dre, right, and whatever Dre was doing, but then you got Freestyle Fellowship and Far Side, you know what I'm saying? Like they're West Coast, right? You know what I'm saying? So there's a variety of sounds that comes out of each region in the States, among our people in the States, that it just deserves more light. That's the
most definitely. And I think that especially being from the South, people who don't live in the South or they don't a lot of times don't realize what you just said, that there are multiple movements as far as hip hop in the South. You just only get one that's pushed in your face. It's kind of like I had an interview with the Chicago MC I Am God, and who was also on the album, and we were talking about we had from like when you think of Chicago, right? You had people like Common and Kanye. You also had the more like player type stuff with Twister and Do or Die. Then you also had like the sniping, the fast rapping, the Chicago, but it was all representative of Chicago. But now you would the media act like drill is the only sound of Chicago. Right. But no, Chicago has all of these different sounds, right? That all deserve light. And so I feel like the South is the same way.
100%. The question is going to be, you doing a part 2, a volume 2, or what?
Yeah, I got the bug now, man. I'm definitely doing a part 2.
All right, cool. So to conclude, just let the people them know, like, where can they find this album? And is there any like special merchandising associated with it, or everyone's into vinyl now and them kind of things? Like,
no vinyl yet. I'm not. That's kind of tough because just a lot of the vinyl plans that I've ran across. Not sure about yet, right? But if you do want to purchase, you can purchase the digital version on Bandcamp.
Okay.
But you can find the album on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, YouTube Music, Amazon, anywhere you can stream music.
All right, cool. Just give out your social media, just in general, so people can stay in tune with you, what you're doing.
For sure. You can find me on Twitter at Rakeem Shabazz. You can find me on Instagram at Rakeem_Universal.
All right. So, family, what we've done today is just give you a taste, of what this album is saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's on the album. So it's now for you to go check it out. Like he said, or a streaming platform, Bandcamp, you know what I'm saying? Support the thing. And we always say, we want music that reflects our conscious politics. Or let's make sure that we support the artists, the producers, and the curators, when they bring it to us. And no doubt you're going to hear more from Rakeem Shabazz and any number of the artists on Why is the Dome, the album, for more on gotkushTV. Until such time, family, I'm saying, let us know. Check it out and leave your reflections on the album in the comment section of the video. We look forward to hearing your feedback. And for now, family, thank you very much, Rakeem Shabazz. Well done for a very brilliant, great album. And we look forward to hearing more.
Thank you, brother. It's an honor to be on your platform. It's an honor to build with you. It's an honor to call you my brother, man.
Yes, sir. Peace out, family. Until next time, just remember, you ain't got nothing if you ain't got kush. Lyricism is a craft. Leave the gimmicks to the half-hearts who can only walk the beaten path and rock the stereotypical mask. They stole our swag, pimped us out, called it mainstream, and we said bun it. The only stream we feel is the one that flows from our current. We were the genius, wide-eyed, trying to fraternize with the gatekeepers to the mansion. And every time we got too black, no exposure was the sanction. He couldn't resist the rhythm, stayed making P from our riggers, saying, please continue to create like gods, just so long as you spit like niggas. But we're them perverted revolutionaries. Don't let us in the door, we kick it down. Seal the roof, we smash through the ceiling. And now we've become wise enough to construct our own buildings. Their mansion is a minor, to their industry we don't aspire. Now London's burning cause we ignite the UK fire. So spit high caliber MC, rapper, bring the spoken word poet. Vocalists construct those melodies of resonant frequencies and send it out to the world. If Omawale Malcolm was a poet, we are the means necessary. Carrying Yah Santa was bullets on the winds of our words. If Messiah was music, we are the whirlwind and the storm. Be black as you wanna be, this is your platform. Like how the Most High created the world, it's recognized as the first gift. gotkushTV, we bring you Wordsmith.